And there you have it, a mesh in 3D space created entirely by code and by using an array of vectors. Hello and welcome to this Godot tutorial. I'm now going to show you how you can create a mesh in 3D space using an array of points. As a prerequisite here now, I do have an vector2 array ready. So just to show you how it looks. So I'm doing that. As you see, now I have quite an extensive array of 2D points, which I will, by using the Godot surface tool, will be able to create a 2D mesh where the outline is exactly these points. So, in order to understand how this works, I think we're first going to go a bit through the surface tool. There is some excellent documentation on the Godot site. You can see here they have provided an example on how to create a triangle. So we're going to start by making a simplified version of this. So let's create a function called build mesh. So first we need to initialize the surface tool itself. So st for surface tool. Yes, there it is. So new instance of the surface tool. And then we need to begin it. So we use the begin function, st begin. And then mesh primitive. Let's see, it's primitive triangles. Then we have the example provided, which is so a vector tree with the points -1, -1, 0. They have three more. Let's see, two more I mean. So -1, 1, and 1, 1, 0, which is the last one. And then when we have fed the surface tool the points, then we need to commit it. So we create a mesh variable and we commit it to that mesh. Now let's create a mesh instance as well. Then set the mesh of that mesh instance to the mesh that we created. Or mesh equals mesh. And now add the add the mesh instance as a child to our scene. All right. Now let's run and see how this looks. First, we just need to add our build mesh function to the ready function. Like so. Right, play. Okay, so now we can see that we have actually drawn a triangle. So based on the points we gave, we have gotten a triangle. To show how this actually works, I'm going to take up the paint. So I have drawn a beautiful grid here. So if we look at the code that we had, we see that, okay, the first point was at -1, -1, which is, let's say here, so -1 on x-axis and -1 on the y-axis. The second point was -1 on the x-axis and 1 on the y-axis, which is here. And then we had a point that was 1, 1, which is 1 on x-axis and 1 on the y-axis, which gives us the triangle right here. So now let's see that we don't want just a triangle, we want to make a square. Then it would be natural to think that, okay, we can just take one point there and then we would have one square, right? So let's try and see what happens. So in addition to this, then we need a point 1, -1. 1 on the x-axis, -1, which is the point we're missing. Okay, let's try to run this function now. Now you see nothing is happening here. The debugger is going crazy. Something is wrong. The thing with this function is that it can only draw triangles. So in order to make this work, we don't need only one more, we need 3 more. So in addition to this, we need to make a new triangle here. I just have to adjust these points a little bit. When it creates the triangles, it goes clockwise, so you have to think about which vertex comes first. So when we start with 1, 1, then the next point will be 1, -1. So if you see on this on the drawing that I made, so you have to start here, then that one, and then that, and then it connects. And the last one is -1, -1. So if we now play, yes, then we have a rectangle. So great. But what do we do when there are more complex shapes? If we go back to my array, that we started off with, you see all these points, they are just outliers. Like, there is no way that I really can make any triangles out of this. But there are one method that always works. So if we go back to our rectangle, and let's say that we have many more points. Some maybe a bit weird. So how do we create all the triangles to make this shape right here? The answer is to find the center point. If we calculate the center of the shape that you want, then it will always be a triangle. You see? So what we need to do, because we have all the outlier points, so we just need to calculate the center of our shape, and then we can actually use this function. So let's do that for the array that I have, and we will see how that works. So let me just take away this function. Okay. First, since we're operating in 3D space, we want to create a flat mesh, but still we need a vector tree, which means that this vector 2 array won't work because we need also a third integer for our z coordinate. So let's create. This. Okay, let's create a function for that. 2v3. Takes the vector2 array. Now, it might seem weird that I have two for loops here for one vector array, but if you see inside when we printed out the vector2 array, you can see that there are two brackets here. So you actually need to unpack it 2 times. So that's why. So now we feed it with the point that we already have, and 0 as the C value. Right, what is oh, it should be okay. Let's see. All right, now let's test it. the vector array to make the variable, and then just let's print it to see that it looks okay. Yeah, that seems good. So now it is the exact same as we had that we had earlier, only with the z value of 0. Okay. Good. Then let's now expand our build mesh function. So we know that we want to feed it the vector tree array. So we can start there. So I think we're actually going to start with the center point. No, sorry, wrong place for that one. Have it in function, of course. Yeah, okay. Let's create a function for how to find center. We take in the vectors that we need. The center point is a vector tree. We don't know what it is quite yet, so we'll just put it at 0. So for vector in So it's quite simple actually. What we do is that we add together all the vector values and then divide by the number of them. And that is actually how we get the center of it. Okay, that should be it. So we put that again inside the build mesh function. So I find the center point based on the vector tree array. Put that in. Okay. So what we need to do now, like for every iteration, we need to create one triangle. So if we go back to this drawing, so I'm going to loop through the list of vectors. So let's say if we start here, Then I also need the next one, and I need the center. And then when I go to this, then I need, of course, this is the first point, second point, third point, and so on. So I need the length of the vector array. I need a second variable to count the point next to it, which is I plus 1. Unless you are at the last point in the list, then we need to be the first one. So if I equals length of the array minus 1, then we set k to 0. Alright, now let's add the vertex points. So the first point, as I said, is the point we're iterating in. The second one is the k, which is the one next to it. Not standard, it's successful. And the third point is our center. Now that this should be the moment of truth, so let's check. Yes, there you have it. Let's try to put the camera a bit closer and see if I can get the star in the middle here. Yeah, close enough. So now that you see we have drawn this complex shape, so all these points are built of triangles from the point to the point next to it and to the middle, to the center. So there you have it, and I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and all feedback is appreciated, also if there are things that I can do better next time. Thank you.